Alright, so the tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys today is we're going to be creating these kind of panel-like collages. And this is going to be in order to compare the different apertures or to compare different photos. So the first step is go to Photoshop, File, New, and we're going to be making the kind of outline and background of our panel. So you're going to want your width to be 45 and your height to be 8. So we've got 5 times our height. And we're going to be going in inches, making sure we have a resolution of 300. Once you've done all that, go ahead and hit create. And you've got your panel. If you ever need to zoom in, you can do Command plus to zoom in. And if you want to zoom out, you can do Command minus, which is right next to the plus sign, if you need to zoom in or out for whatever reason. But next step is you're going to go up to the top toolbar and you're going to click on View and New Guide Layout. So New Guide Layout's going to make these blue lines, which is going to be our grid. You guys can add as many as you would like, but for the tutorial today, making sure that your columns are at 5 and your rows are at 1. If it's not allowing you to have rows or not allowing you to have columns, just make sure you've got your check mark. Once you've got 5 columns and 1 row, it should look just like this. And go ahead and click OK. Next step is we're going to be making a new layer. So if you come down here to the new layer, create new layer tab, and click on that. And then you're going to go to your rectangle marquee tool, which is going to be this kind of colored in rectangle. Make sure you're using the colored in rectangle, not the dashed line rectangle. So next step is you're going to select a new color. I go with red. You're going to drag to create a new selection around that square. And you're going to let go. If your shape didn't get colored in, go ahead and hit right click and hit fill. And once we get our shape, hit enter so that it saves on that. And then we're going to kind of repeat these steps for the next 4 squares. So go ahead and click on create new layer. You're going to change the color. You're going to make a square selection. And you're going to fill it in. Once it's filled in, go ahead and click enter. And again, repeat. So new layer. Change the color. Make your selection. Fill. And hit enter. Doesn't matter what color you guys use. Any colors will work. Just kind of make sure you're not using the same colors next to each other so that you can tell the difference. But we are going to be coloring or filling over these, so it doesn't matter too much what colors you're using. Alright, so once we have all of our layers, it should look something like this. The next step is going to be getting our photos ready. So to get our photos ready, if you go back to your desktop of your computer, right click on your desktop and click new folder, and you're going to name that folder Collage Aperture, and then hit enter. Find your photos. So if your photos were on your SD card, click on your SD card. Find where the photos would be. Select your photos. And then you can just drag them straight into your folder so that you know exactly where they are for when we're doing our editing. So once you've got them in your folder, you can go back to Photoshop. And now we're going to start bringing our photos in. So Make sure that you are clicking off the marquee tool and going back to your move tool, which is going to be the top kind of compass looking tool. And you're going to click on your first box. You're then going to go down to the Finder icon, which is the two faces looking at each other. And you're going to find that folder. So your folder is going to be on your desktop. And you're going to find it. Collage. All right, we've got our photos. So next you're just going to start dragging them over. Drag and drop. Once your photo is good to go, go ahead and click enter. And then we'll be placing them where we want to place them. Once you've kind of found where you want them to go, click the check mark or hold enter. And then it'll be in the right spot. Once it's in the right spot, if you right click on the photo icon, so your photo icon is going to be right above the rectangle, create clipping mask. That way we can move it wherever we want without it getting in the way. So you're just going to start repeating these steps. So click on the next square, go to Finder, find your next image, drag it over, click OK. And then you're just going to place it. When you're placing these, since we're doing comparing, make sure that you're placing them in the same area. So for this, I've got the little bookshelf right here on this side, and then I've got the end of this flashlight right here. So they're all in the same area so that we can compare them. But then continuing, so I'm going to click on the photo layer, create clipping mask, and then I can move it either way without it interfering. All right, and then again, just repeating those steps. Oops. All right, once you've got everything, go ahead and click on the top layer. Scroll down, click on background, right click, and we're going to flatten the image so that it's all one file. Then if you go up to view, clear guides, and then we've got our image. So then if we zoom into this, since we were comparing our aperture for this photo, we'll be able to look at the background. So the background of this is kind of fuzzy. We've got our shallow depth of field on this one. Whereas if we go to the other end, we've got our deeper depth of field, clear images, and it gradually gets there with the in-betweens. This is our very shallow depth of field. The middle one, all the way to the end. So once you've got your collage done, go ahead and save it. You can go to File, Export, Export As. You're going to export it as a JPEG or JPG. Quality 100, and then you can export. Next, it's going to ask you where you'd like to export it to. So we're going to export it to our desktop. You can name it Aperture Collage, and then save it. That's going to then send it to, now you can send it to Google Classroom and submit it for your assignment.